Yeah, we're going to get this party started a little bit early. We're going to be talking Chase Young.
I love it. I love it.
We're going to be talking some Danielle Hunter.
Yes, sir.
Shoot, we might even throw out a little rumor about Saquon Barkley going to Chicago just because they can afford him. Why not?
True. Very true.
To NFC North Open Mic. Getting
Yes,
started
sir.
a little bit early with the West Coast Stat Master.
I'm right here.
I love having that background that they can actually listen to us talk, man.
That's right. That's right. It's a good thing.
We can kind of set it up a little bit, right?
Yeah. Set us up for success.
We have to be able to get set up for success. Welcome one and welcome all, ladies and gentlemen. It's the NFC North Open Mic right here. I'm your host tonight. I'm your host. Russell Wayne's your host. Mike's out in Cali. He's out in Cali. He's doing that thing out there. He's trying to get a hold of you, West Coast Stat Master. And,
I know. You know what? It's funny. He's just about 2.5 hours south of me of where I'm at. I wish I could have made it out there at prior arrangements, though. And Mike's a good dude. He'll be back.
Yeah, he was on business, though, too. Yeah, but we figured we'd get things started a little bit early. We just love talking football. We appreciate you out there. We understand that this is the avid football fan because casual football fan checks out after the Super Bowl gets over, and then, and then good fan checks back in around the draft time, right? And then they get excited for a minute, and then they check back out. But avid football player right here, you're talking football fan. It is June the 12th. I mean, it's the middle of summer, and we're talking football right here. Detroit Lions, I want to thank the Detroit Lions News for letting us broadcast in there. Bill the Packer fan, Mike the Bear fan, NFC North main event, and Detroit Lions villain squad for doing that thing. And, man, are you excited about this Detroit Lions season? Give me some love right here. West Coast Stat Master, Greg Ross.
Absolutely, man. Look, I threw on my 1996 Mitchell and Ness throwback Barry Sanders jersey. Look, man, this is the most excited I've been going into a season since 2014. We have a completely revamped secondary, some great draft picks coming up. I don't know what else to tell Detroit Lions fans. If you're on that wait and see approach, I get it. Part of that, we've never had success. I get that. But look, we are looking good. We showed it in the second half of last year. And, it's only getting better from here.
Right. And here's the thing is like Las Vegas does not pay for, wait and see type of things right there.
Yes,
they put
sir.
those odds out there for, way in advance. And they've gotten so much better. I was looking up some of the PFF stats on Detroit's defense ranked 29th, but there were some different things in that. Now, this was a horrendous 32nd in the league when it comes to coverage defense, when it comes to the DBs. And now you exit out Amani Oruwariye, exit out Jeff Okudah, Deshaun Elliott, bring in Cam Sutton, bring in Mosley, bring in Branch, bring in Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, completely revamp that secondary. And then you actually had a pass rush defense that ranked 14th in the NFL. So really, you fixed that secondary. Is this defense going to be good?
Russ, that is the biggest question going forward. Look, I've heard some grumblings in a lot of Lions groups and social media groups that they're a little worried at corner, that we're a little thin there. But look, Brad Holmes did everything in his power to improve this group. Look, we all know Cam Sutton, what he did for that Steelers organization, how much respect he got from a storied franchise organization like the Steelers. Those are no slouch statements. That's something that's real. And you look at Emos coming over from San Francisco 49ers, that team, as of the last decade, more than a decade has been predicated on their defensive ability, their aggressiveness. He comes over there having great success against the likes of DK Metcalf, someone that we absolutely struggled with last year. There's not much more Holmes could have done. He grabbed Brian Branch, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, like you just said. The versatility, the reload is there in the secondary. And I can honestly say that this looks, as of now, on paper, before the field, that this might be the best secondary I've ever seen the Detroit Lions put on the field.
You know what? I might have to agree with you. You got Jameson in here saying, go Brad Holmes. You got John saying James Houston, he is going to bring the heat. I mean, Brad Holmes is finding these guys in the late rounds that are contributing, because I honestly believe they thought this was 2024 when they were like, okay, we're going to make this plan. We're going to compete by 2024. Give me a couple years. Well, they arrived a year early, and this is a Super Bowl contending roster right here, whether you want to be a homer or whether you don't want to be a homer, in my opinion. So glad to see that, glad to be here. Go Pack, go. Evan Hooper's in there. I mean, how you feeling about your team? We're going to get to the Pack here in a little bit when we bring on the rest of the guys from the North, but we figure we jump right in here in the Detroit Lions news and do a little Lions homering, because I do believe that we're going to be really good. And that secondary has been completely revamped. I mean, Cam Sutton is a solid quality defensive back. He would be on any one of the 32 teams that is out there because of his smarts. And Emmanuel Mosley, I mean, he shut down DK Metcalf in his time over there, so that's pretty impressive. So I like this secondary. I already like the pass rush that, with that rookie that rookie that was a 20 and a half sacks. That broke an NFL record, Craig Rice.
I love it. I love it, man. How can you not be excited going forward looking at this defense and bringing in Jack Campbell to kind of solidify that linebacker group? This is probably the highest touted prospect we've had at linebacker since DeAndre Levy. And I'm talking about the prime DeAndre Levy. We got something special in Jack Campbell. The guy is just football smart, no nonsense type of guy. He's kind of got that throwback old school vibe, but he's got the speed. Maybe not necessarily the elite sideline to sideline speed, but the guy is good and he has great instincts, and that's something you need out of a linebacker, especially at our linebacker position.
And he's long, and where he won was like in the coverage. I mean, this guy's got ball skills because he played basketball, and I mean, he just gets these one-armed interceptions. And I don't know if you've ever seen this kid with the ball in his hand, but he doesn't just go down and intercept the ball. He's got ball skills, so they think that he's just a linebacker, but this guy he's going to be a cog right in the middle of that defense. And he's not going to need to be sideline to sideline, really. I mean, he's going to be in the middle of that defense. So, all right, look at this one. We got Ray saying Aleem McNeil is going to be the key to the D-line.
Good point. Good point.
I mean, they didn't draft a defensive tackle high. I mean, what do you think about them not drafting a defensive tackle high? I mean, I know you wanted to be a proponent for that.
Yeah, you know, Russ, I was there from day one saying, hey, man, if Jalen Carter, which our staff didn't seem to be a key fitting piece. I'm not going to go into the young man's history, post-championship. We all know about it. It just didn't look like it was going to be a fit here. So our Detroit Lions, Brad Holmes, passed on him. We'll live to see if that was the right decision or not. And then we passed on Kalijah Cansey, who the Bucs ended up taking right behind us. But, you know, when the reports came out that the Bucs were looking at Jack Campbell, and then they figured we take Cansey, you know, I'll just state it like this. Aleem McNeil is absolutely the X factor, like our Roy Bradow commented on. This guy has the most upside. Look, I love John Kaminsky. I love his story. Broderick Martin looks to be a little bit more of a developmental project type player. Isaiah Buggs, love his story. Great run stuffer. Lacking in the pass rushing department. Aleem McNeil is absolutely the key to this cog in this defensive line. He doesn't have to necessarily be Ndamukong Suh type elite pass rushing interior.
Yes, he does.
Or Cam Jordan or one of these elite interior. He just has to be good and suffice, you know, and bring that situation to where he could snack up a center and a guard and give our edge rushers potential to get one-on-one opportunities. And you look at out there on the edge, we've got one hell of a rotation out there. and possibly even a better rotation if these rumors or these Vegas odds are true.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, we're gonna get into that when we actually start the NFC North Open Mic. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm putting the open invitation out there, and like I said, main event Mike is not here. He is out there in California, and I'm hosting the show. I hope I'm an adequate host. I don't mean to steal that from those Pride of Detroit guys, but they're really, really awesome. I love sharing their content out there because they write good articles. But yeah, bring yourself on here. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to make it official. We're going to do our little promo right here. Let's do our NFC North intro right here. Here it goes. There you go. There's that brand new intro right there. I thought, I was proud of that. I was proud of that right there, especially the Panay Sewell catch right there.
Yeah.
And starting right off the bat, we got Packer fan 808 in the house. What's going on, brothers? Evan, right?
Yep.
Evan Almighty in the house.
That's right.
Packer fan extraordinaire.
That's
so
right.
Welcome to the show. And, we got a couple things that we really want to touch on, but we can start with the Packer stuff right here. And I want to hit the open mic, what we were hitting on during the week, Evan, and talking about this Clifford out there balling in training camp, and they say that he might be outshining Jordan Love. And how you feeling about this?
I mean, either way, whoever balls out more, it works out great for us. I mean, regardless of who the starting quarterback would be mid-season, who's outplaying who, we still have good quarterback play in that case.
Yeah.
If someone underproduces, then somebody else is going to overproduce.
Yeah, so it's not really even a bad thing because we're not even in training camp, really. This isn't like serious news or anything when you're running out there. But it's nice to know that you got the young kid out there balling a little bit. Maybe there is a little bit of a quarterback competition out there. And I wanted to also touch on this Joe Barry versus Gutekunst thing. And we even got John Dorn in the house, too. Because
what's up, John?
What's up, John? How you doing, brother?
What's happening? Let me shut down some of this shit. I'm getting an echo. Okay.
Yeah. Let me know.
So it's over the same old Lions.
Okay, what do you want to talk about, the Packers, or do you want to talk about the same old Lions?
Let's talk about the Packers, about that quarterback, Clifford. He
Yeah.
He had one good 2-minute drill, and that's it. And
that was it?
Everybody's just throwing out that on a portion. It's just one little 2-minute fucking end zone thing, and that was it.
Hey, but that's like your fifth round. I mean, your fifth round draft picks.
I get you, John, but let's put a positive spin on this. At worst, maybe you're developing a good quality backup quarterback, man.
I see that part, but
yeah. I mean, look.
Everybody's like, oh, he's now dual the fucking Love. There ain't no fucking way.
No?
Yeah,
okay.
This is definitely Love's job to lose. I don't think there's anyone confused about that. I just think on a positive note, John, I think it's amazing to have this Clifford kid come in because this is a position that is usually taken for granted here in the NFL until it happens. And when your starter goes down for any amount of time, man, it is nice knowing you can go and hopefully it's not a stretch, but if it's 2, 3, 4 games, that you could at least go 500 in those games, man.
I would like the quarterback to be a little younger if we draft him, no? Like 21, 22, right on there, young, you know?
Here's the other thing.
We got the same problem.
But you got
John.
Hooker. Hooker's a good.
Yeah.
I'm thinking he might be taking that job away from Goff. I'm saying.
Possible, but
Yeah,
he's
I mean,
also
I
25.
don't
He's
know.
old.
I don't think it'd be this year.
maybe
but
when he gets his ACL back, it
next
could be
year.
possible. But I mean, it's Goff's job this year. He's got a shot at the strap this year. That's what he wants, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then next year, we'll see. You know,
The only thing that we're not concerned about the Packers is actually right now is our safeties. Our safeties are bad right now. Well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ford, he's 74 PFF. I mean, he's got the nose for the ball. I like him. I do like him.
Can I ask? Go ahead, Russ.
I wanted to throw this back out there to them because, like, Aaron Rodgers, I know you guys will hate him now, but he says that it was Gutekunst. But I like Gutekunst. I like how he handled that trade and everything like that. So the question is, I mean, Joe Barry's got 8 first-round draft picks on that defense right there. I mean, if he doesn't produce a top 10 defense, are you guys thinking about a new defensive coordinator?
Definitely.
Definitely.
Go ahead and throw a take on that, Evan.
I think that if he does not produce with 8 good first-round draft picks on defense, then we definitely need a new coordinator because people are doing better with less first-round talent on defense, which is it's not a good thing.
Yeah.
So last year, you guys were 21st overall as far as the PFF ranking goes. But you do have you were 12th in the league in coverage. So you do have a good secondary, but you guys were 25th against the run, and you've invested a ton of capital onto that defensive line.
You know what I heard today? Actually,
what's that?
Okay, since the floor's been in for being a coach, our defense against the run was always ranked like 31st against the run.
Yeah.
This year, if you notice, in our drafts, we went out and got a lot of front. You know, we got a lot of passes. We got a few pass rushers and interior lines on that. So hopefully our run defense will get better. It has to get better. I mean, it's definitely has to go. Our back half, we're not worried about that. I think our safeties, I think we could have had Branch. We could have easily had Branch. We knew you guys were going to take him. I knew Goodwin probably knew that.
Yeah.
For some reason, we didn't like Branch. I don't know what it was. I'm kind of up and I think Branch is a pretty decent player. You know, I think he can't cover worth a shit, but I think otherwise, other than else, he's damn good.
Yeah.
You know, he can tackle. He's got speed. He's got, but I mean.
Well, Brian Branch was a badass in every stretch of the imagination. He was. I mean, I don't know where the evidence was that he was bad in coverage. He was the best safety in a nation.
Well,
he was adequate in coverage, Russ. A friend of ours, a mutual friend of ours, Walter Stringer, put out a good point on this. Detroit Lions Ave. You guys can check him out there too. So he compared him to a Jamal Adams type player with more adequate coverage skills. It's still a lot to be desired in terms of coverage, but where Brian Branch is good at is he's got a nose for the ball and shutting down the run. He's one of the best at doing that. His versatility is very key, and that's something that I think me and you, Russ, we know that was a huge emphasis for Brad Holmes this year between bringing him and Chauncey Gardner-Johnson in, was just bringing in that versatility.
You've got our nose for balls too.
Yeah.
We got two ball hawkers.
You definitely don't want Brian Branch covering like somebody's number 1 wide receiver or something like that. But I think that he's more of a slot guy. You know, he's really good at stepping up and stopping the run when they say so.
Just don't throw him Musgrave.
But here's the good thing for the Lions. There's this really cool thing called depth. He's not going to have to do anything because there's a couple of really, really good safeties that are going to be
there.
That's something the Lion. I mean, really, depth. That's like that's a weird thing.
When does this happen?
What is this thing they call depth? They keep saying it.
You guys really good. Okay, to me, you guys bring up Sutton.
Yeah,
I think he's a one-hit wonder. Yeah, he's been in the league for so long. He only had one good year. That was last year. His PFF was like 71 overall. I mean, he hasn't proven another year. You know what I mean? To make say, okay, he is good. You know what I mean? He's been He's been in the league for what? 7 years now? 6 years now?
Who?
Not Sutton.
Sutton has been in the league for 4 years.
Right.
Yeah, this was the first contract off of his rookie deal, wasn't it?
Yeah, this is his first contract off his rookie deal. I do believe, John, I get what you're saying. So his first year, he wasn't really needed as a starter.
Yeah.
The Steelers at that time had great depth at corner. His second, third years, he was kind of getting worked in. The third year, you could see it coming out at the end of the season.
That's a little bit better. I've seen that.
Yeah, last year he was much better.
His PFF was like 63 last year, and then this year it jumped up to 71.
Okay.
He's an undersized dude. He's like one of those guys that like he wasn't given a chance because you wouldn't think that he would be a prototypical guy, but he just kind of stepped in and
who's your corner two then? Is it Jacobs or for the beginning of the year or?
Honestly, I think we have 3 corner twos.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think Sutton is a good 2. I think Mosley's a good 2. I think Jacobs is a good 2.
You can't lie on Mosley though. He's intertone and.
Well, we'll see what happens, John. We're keeping our fingers crossed for health this year, man.
So, yes, Dorn, if everything goes wrong and every one of those guys, one breaks his ACL, the other one's injury prone, the other one doesn't make it because, he slipped in the shower. Yes, I understand our team is going to suck if everybody gets injured.
We love you, John.
But here you go, John. So will your team.
You guys love a bunch of ACL tears. You guys, how many players on your team just had ACL tears in the past couple years?
I don't even remember. I've lost count.
A lot of them.
Well, right now, I heard this. This is straight in via, the Detroit Lions office that it is a prerequisite to even be considered for a Lions position that you had to have had an ACL surgery.
That's what I'm saying.
That's how we operate here, John.
Good.
Yeah, it's good.
So,
what have we got next, Russ?
I don't even know how we got onto. We were talking about the Green Bay Packers.
How many years? So it's going to go right to the Lions. The same old fucking Lions. They had a flip season last year.
Hey, you can clown us all you know what? We deserve all of it.
Yeah, until you prove, until you win something, then I'll say okay. Then I'll bow down and say okay.
All right.
You ready for this? I'm going to tell you about all of the great history that the Lions have had in the Super Bowl era. You ready? Thank you.
Yeah, here we are.
I didn't fall asleep.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we don't have anything there, but all we have is a hope and a dream, and we've been smoking the hopium.
Can we Justin Fields or something? Can we just do that?
No. Where's Jamez at? He was supposed to be on here, Russ. Did we get the link out to the group?
Let's see. I mean, I thought I put it into everywhere we are streaming, which I'll tell you that right now. We are streaming into Bill the Packer Fans page, Bill the Packer Fans YouTube. We are also streaming into Detroit Lions Villain Squad, NFC North main event, Detroit Lions news. Thank you guys for giving us a platform so we can start yakety in the month of June about football. Let's go. Anyway, what was I doing again? What was I supposed to go to?
Oh, you were talking about Justin Fields sucks or something like that.
So 100% assurance that was not what we were talking about, John, but it's a valiant effort.
You said you can hardly hear John. I don't know if you could get a little bit closer to your mic. I mean, I can hear you just fine. Actually, I wanted to turn you down, but it's all good. So we were talking about. We were going to call out Jamez. That's right, Jamez. Well, most of the Viking fans are in witness protection because they know that their team is going to be garbage.
Man.
I mean, they're going to be the bottom of the NFC North. You're talking about 0-6. They're not going to win an NFC North game.
I don't think they will either, Russ. Do you want to talk? Are we going to touch on the Danielle Hunter thing?
Well, I wanted to get them in here, but we can talk about that. I mean, nobody wants to play for you guys. How about that?
Skull.
Yeah, skull.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
It's Norwegian for cheers.
Yeah.
That's what skull means. Yeah. Somebody see if I can't get this.
Toilet bowl.
Yeah.
So, Mike Florio actually agrees with John Dorn about last year being a fluke for the Lions. So,
yeah,
Mike Florio is a John Dorn fan, I think.
There we go. There we go.
You gotta prove something, you know.
I get it, John. Look, we've got to prove something, man. And this year, I don't want, unless golf goes down, I don't want any excuses from our Lions. Another thing we talked about on this show, John, is the Lions cannot get off to a slow start this year. Yep. We have two tough opening opponents, obviously in Kansas City. Another under the radar team, well, not really under the radar team. They're a playoff team last year in the Seattle Seahawks, who just acquired Zach Charbonnet, Devin Bush. They brought back Bobby Wagner, and they brought in JSN. And these are two tough opening games for our Lions. So
one thing about KC though, I mean, the first game, you could go in there and just knock them out. You could. I mean,
we could.
You don't know. You don't know.
I expect it because, and I want to throw this question out there because we're in the Detroit Lions news group now. I want you guys to answer this question: if the Lions lose this game, Week 1. To the Kansas City Chiefs, are you going to be out there being like, oh my God, they tried so hard. It was so valiant the way that they almost won. Like, or are you done with this? I mean, this team's supposed to compete. We have to beat good teams like this. So are you not going to give them a pass? Like I am not going to give them a pass. You got to win this game. All this hype, you got to go in there and you got to knock out the champ while their heads turn the other way.
Even if you lose, at least be competitive. You know, don't. Yeah. You know, at least be competitive in the game.
I'm kind of more center balanced, like John was just alluding to. Look, we need a good game. We're opening the season of the NFL. Let's be real here with the Detroit Lions. We don't get this opportunity many times. For us to go out there and lay a skunk or just this is the type of stuff that doesn't get us on television. The league blessed us with the ability to open up the schedule for the league this year. I think the Lions got to go out there, in my opinion, Russ. I'm somewhat in that in-between crowd. I won't completely fall off the ship. I'm not scared of KC. I think we present some good matchup problems for them, but I also understand that they have the best quarterback on planet Earth, already, in my opinion, a top 5 player all time in Patrick Mahomes. This guy you could play an immaculate game against, Russ, and we've talked about this before. Mistake-free football, do everything right, and still lose because this kid is that talented.
Their teams been put together for. I mean, they've been together for the longest time.
Sure.
You guys are still piecing things together yet. Yeah. And you guys get your chemistry yet.
But this is the first time I've ever been able to say this as a Lions fan. I think the pieces are there now. Like I think that they believe that this roster is the roster that will compete. And then, we'll see what happens as the year goes forward. But we got $90 million next year, so I'm not worried about this is.
We're not the Vikings, John. We got a manager in control that's actually making good deals.
Yeah. No,
we haven't done it yet, but this is the year to prove it. This is the year. Like you got to win a playoff game. You got to win the NFC North. You've never won the NFC North. Detroit Lion fan. I want to hear from you.
The weakest part I see in the Lions is the interior line.
Good point, John. And that's something that we just talked about before you jumped on is our interior defensive line. So, look, we got a third-year player coming up in Lee McNeil who's good, who's flashed. Yep. He just hasn't quite necessarily been the piece that we quite need, but we're thinking he can get there. The man turned a lot of body fat into muscle this year. He's fitting more into that prototypical 4-3 defensive tackle rather than the 3-4 nose tackle that we drafted him for out of the 0-1 tech. We have big hopes for him this year, and he's a huge X factor for us. As our run defense last year was actually worse than your guys. And, and I know you understand getting frustrated by run defense, John and Evan. There's nothing more embarrassing than watching a team progressively just run the ball down your throat with impunity. Yeah. It's a crappy feeling. It saps the morale out of you. It makes for a slow game. And you just kind of sit there between biting your nails and scratching your head like, is this what it's all about?
Yeah, I do got to say, though, I think you guys definitely have a shot at beating KC first week because Kansas City is notorious for always having a slow start. Right. Yeah. Slow start. Last year they lost to the Colts. I think it was week 3.
Yeah. You're absolutely right on that.
Yeah. So
good call out, Evan.
Of course have a chance, but you guys also last year had a slow start.
Yep. Agreed.
So you got to get off. You got to either go off sprinting or you're going to get stuck in the mud.
I agree with you wholeheartedly, Evan. And I want to thank you for touching that, being a fan from outside of the Lions fan base and being respectable within the NFC North. Look, man, there's no Lions fan alive that knows more than I do, and Russ here, that a slow start cannot and will not be tolerated. I'm telling you this, we got a strong opening schedule between KC, Seattle, Atlanta, who to me has obviously the best rushing attack in the league. If our run defense has not stepped up, we're going to be eaten alive by Algier, Bijan Robinson, and Cordell Patterson. And then we got the Packers, and that's never an easy game for us. A very competitive game. We have to at least break 2-2. Somehow within those games, I'll take a loss to the Packers. I'll take any combination. I'll take a lot, but we have to start 2-2. We cannot get off to a 1-4, 1-5 start. Even as up in the air as this division is, that is just not a recipe for success. It's not sustainable.
It ain't gonna happen. I mean, you know what the record is of the teams that actually start, and they start 0-2. I mean, what is it like 20%?
I think last time I checked, it was if you start 0-2, you have a 13% chance of making the playoffs.
It's ridiculous.
Okay. What happens if you guys start slow again? Does Campbell come?
There'll be. I'm going to be honest with you.
I mean, you got answers.
There'll be some questions about, is Dan Campbell the guy going forward? Look, I'll be the first to tell you, man. When we were at 1-6, and Russ can attribute to this, I had some heavy questions for Dan Campbell. Why aren't we letting Ben Johnson just kind of? There was a point where I was calling for AG and Dan Campbell's head. But, we turned things around, so I'm willing to give Campbell the benefit of the doubt. I will lose faith if we get off to a slow start, though.
I mean, you got to keep him around no matter what, because, I mean, he does motivate that team, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Either way,
well, you're going off the promise of last year where you're riding on this 8-2 thing, and that doesn't translate to the next year. It never translates to the next year. It's a completely brand new thing that's going on right here. And I think it's a positive thing if you're a Lions fan. Even if you're a Chicago fan, man, you should expect to be better. But I don't know. I watched Jamez yesterday, and he was live in the NFC North, the huddle, and he was all kinds of confident down in there, man.
Shots fired, Jamez.
Did I sound off or did I sound off?
You sound like you play on left, I think.
Hey, no, you know what's crazy? I was really just trying to address the million tag I was getting. I figured if I did a little quick dig, that maybe that would answer a few questions because I get tagged about the same shit. I will say this right now, man, with the Minnesota Vikings. The thing is, what Kwesi is doing, and this is one thing I'm finally glad that Ziggy will finally drop this nuts. And dude, this dude Kwesi, man, he's over here running this thing like death row, man, like Suge Knight, man. Listen, hey, it's gonna hey, he's running this shit like Suge Knight, man, and hey, hopefully it pans out. And I see what the goal is, but I'm gonna tell you right now, even though he's gonna be able to keep a competitive team together, if he doesn't at least get. If he lets Daniil Hunter go, or because they said there's a team interested, if he lets Daniil Hunter go, I'm going to start to believe that the shit Paul Merkel is saying is true, and that he's probably just trying to buy himself some more time, man. Maybe this motherfucker sabotaging some shit just so he can say, well, you know what? You guys knew it was going to take a couple years for me to get this together because look at everybody we let go. No, you let them go, motherfucker.
And Jamez does not smoke crack, but he does smoke some of the finest green that you could ever have in your
Oh, Robert Big Head.
Yeah.
It's the stickiest of the icky. Yeah, he thinks the Lions are going to go 8-9. I don't think that we're going to regress.
He was being nice. Come on, he was being nice.
If we go 8-9, heads are rolling.
Yeah.
No, you're right. I got the Lions. They with the roster the Lions have, and as long as Dan Campbell doesn't fuck this off, the Lions should have no more than 6 losses. No more than 6 losses.
I agree with that.
So we've been waiting for Jamez to get on here because I got a little bit of the stats here because Hunter's kind of, he's missing the mini cap, and I just kind of want the fan base to understand what that actually means, right? Really, they're running around in shorts, and he's losing about $16,000 a day for every day that he doesn't show up to mini camp, and that's what it is.
I thought it was more than that.
$14.5 million is what he is owed. He has 71 total sacks in his career. He's been a beast for you guys. He's been very healthy, other than him getting injured, but he's been a very solid
Last
dude.
year he was. Yeah, he was healthy.
He injured 1 year. He played 16 games, like 3 years in a row. Then he was injured, and then he played all the games last year at 10.5 sacks. Man, I mean, you're looking to extend him and make him happy, right, and keep him on the team?
You would think so. Now, this is the interesting thing about Danielle Hunter. The Vikings now for sure have the money to pay him. Now with the live wire like Quezzy, man, you just don't you just never know. This is what I'll say about Danielle Hunter, man. I'm hoping he's on the roster for this year. I'm hoping. Now, see, this is the thing with him. I'm thinking an extension, but nothing too crazy, man. He probably wants something big. I'm thinking 2 years, man. 2 years at the money he wants, with an injury clause in there. And, with some little bonus incentives and shit like that. Of course, all the edge rushers want that, if he gets a certain amount of sacks. No, he is a beast, man. The production has kind of failed since the injury, but, man, you can't argue, man. 10.5 sacks, 12 tackles for loss. That's not easy to find, man. One thing I can say about Hunter is that no matter, even though he can't get to the quarterback as much as he used to, he's still strong enough, and we know for a fact he has the ability to get off of his block and make some kind of play.
Oh my God! Yeah, 10.5 sacks on a very bad defense. I'd be like, I would think about building around that guy, man.
Yeah. Man had almost 45 pressures.
I'm gonna tell you right now, though. Hey, I'll tell you this right now. If that interested team were to be coming with something with like a second rounder or something, man, that kind of hey, man, that kind of changes things for me, man. I'm not gonna lie.
Pass rusher is a premium in the NFL. I wouldn't be surprised if you could get a 2 or a 3 out of 100. That's
what I'm saying.
That's
man.
literally your best defensive player.
How many picks do you think you'll get for JJ?
JJ's gonna be here. JJ's gonna be here for the next 5 or 6 years. But if we're speaking hypothetically, man, I'm pretty sure I could get a boatload for him right now.
John and Jamez, if you don't mind me chipping in on this. If you don't mind me chipping in on this real quick, I think personally, John, that Danielle Hunter is going to be gone. I think all this money that this is all going to go into JJ next year. They're trying to do a competitive rebuild. Essentially, it's hard to make it out when you've lost so much talent, so much of your team captains, so much of your leadership, so many players that you've leaned on for years and years. Just psychologically, when you step in that locker room, it's a totally new room there. No Kendricks. Barr's been gone now for a couple of years. Harrison Smith isn't getting any younger. And this is not to bash on you, Jamez. It's just keeping it real, man. I know you brought in Davenport, who produces when healthy. Unfortunately, he's been healthy 1 out of 5 seasons. That one season, he was a beast. But now we're starting to dabble into that. What is really going on with the Vikings? Are they cleaning up cap space for a complete rebuild next year? Or I think any money that they're saving right now is going to go into investing in JJ, which is a well-made investment. Justin Jefferson, to me, inarguably, to some, arguably the best wide receiver in the league. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that.
Who's going to throw him the ball in 2024, though?
Well, depending on if Danielle Hunter is there or not, maybe Drake May, maybe Caleb Williams. I'm just kidding, Jamez. I think your offense is good enough to compete with anyone.
I'm not so sure. They're keeping it together with Kirk Cousins in the band. They're keeping the offense together. They drafted Addison to keep the offense being competitive. So you got Addison, you got Jefferson, you got a trio of decent running backs with TJ Hawkinson. The offense is still going to be potent, guys.
I'm not worried about the offense at all, man. I expect them to be somewhere around where they were last year, top 6. Okay. They might slide a ranking or 2. But the defense is just a complete mystery, man. I know for what I'm willing to admit off the rip is that at defensive tackle and linebacker, we're thin, man. I think the secondary is actually more put together than you guys are giving it credit, man. I think just off some of the guys we got returning from last year, and just the fact that we still got that veteran leadership in Harrison Hitman to teach some of these guys the ropes early on. They say Flores' scheme looks pretty goddamn good, man. Like I said, you can't give a guy just complete shit and tell him to turn into sugar. But I think, man, this defense, if we can at least get down to fucking the 18th or 19th, 17th ranking, if we can at least get down there, that would be such an improvement for last year, man.
Yeah.
I want to say this final thing before I pass the torch. Even with all these guys we're losing and how much the team could possibly regress without them, you got to remember, even with all these guys, let's say we never lose any of these guys, man, we still couldn't even get a fucking home playoff win versus the team we beat in the regular season, man. Couldn't even get past the team we beat in the regular season at home with all of those guys. It's time to get some money for him, man.
Oh, okay, Jamez. Now, I feel you. Yeah, of course you would want to move from the 32nd ranked defense down, but how do you do that by getting rid of player after player? Now, Flores is good, man, but you're asking an awful lot out of this guy to come through, and I think that they're really just looking to blame the whole damn thing on Kirk Cousins, like that done his damn career there. So he's going to
since he's got here, really pretty much, right?
Yeah, absolutely. He's like the purple Jared Goff.
He's the whipping boy.
Is producing, and they go, oh man, it's all Kirk Cousins' fault. So
he still needs to prove more. Yeah, I saw a post today from one of the Vikings pages. They said, if things don't go right for the 2023 season, Kirk Cousins may become the scapegoat. Like dude, maybe is that something new?
Yeah.
Need 8 yards and throw it 3.
Yeah, I knew someone was gonna say it.
So I saw that today, Jamez, and I saw you jump on that, and I was just like, that's what they would do. They would blame the whole damn thing on Kirk Cousins. He throws for 5,000 yards, and they lose 12 games because they can't stop anybody.
Against the Giants, even.
Even in that Giants game, they like to throw that last play on him, dude. He actually rallied that off. He rallied the team back into that game, man. The defense did shit on him, dude. Everybody wants to. If I was Kirk Cousins, I wish he was more of a meaner guy. I wish he had more of a Baker Mayfield attitude. Because fucking me, if I was Kirk Cousins, I'd go downtown Minneapolis, downtown New York, somewhere. I'd have a nice crew out there. I'd be letting people know how mad I am. Goddamn it! I'd be letting people. If I was Kirk Cousins, he's just too nice of a guy. I'd be letting people know how pissed off I am. I'd be laying out my numbers. Listen, dude, I had 8 game-winning drives last year. That's tied for first all time. Damn it! Yep. What else do you want me to do?
In that playoff game, he threw for 272 yards. He had 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. It's like Kirk Cousins is crucified because he's a pocket quarterback, and we like quarterbacks that can run.
New era, Russell. And that's part of the issue. You guys started to cut in here. I think that's part of the issue that all of us, all fans of the NFL, is we look at all these new age quarterbacks, prototypical. All of them are mobile. All of them have huge arms. All of them have this ability to get skinny in a collapsing pocket and still produce like exceptional highlight plays. You know, you look at quarterbacks like Kirk Cousins, Derek Carr, Matt Stafford, who just don't have that ability, but they excel in a lot of other areas, and they're still able to put up good stats.
Well, it's just Rodgers.
What Rodgers was at one point, John, you can attribute to that. Rodgers, to me, Rodgers, Steve Young, a young Elway, all those guys come to mind. Of those guys, Michael Vick, obviously, Randall Cunningham, all those guys come to mind of those guys that started setting that trend of like, holy cow, these guys are revolutionizing the game. And so what happens, Jamez, is you can't help it when your franchise, winning or not, and it's a looky-loo league, a copycat league where you look around, even us fans, and we're like, I want my player to do that. Why can't he do that? And it's like, well, it's just not meant to be. God didn't design him like that, or however you want to put it.
But here's the thing. It's like
shit. Yeah, if Cousins had Josh Allen's legs, we'd probably be in the Super Bowl.
True.
Yeah. But would you? Because here's the thing: is like people that can extend the plays. You're really talking about like maybe 5% of the game. So the other parts of the game, that's where everybody sells the pocket quarterback short, because the 95% of the game that's played just with a guy in the pocket trying to get the read out to the correct person and playing within the scheme, those are be the best quarterbacks. But plus being able to escape the pocket is one of those extra things. But you have to be able to go back and manage the game. Even if Patrick Mahomes, he can still manage the game when he needs to manage the game. Yeah. He needs to hand the ball off, do a little bit of dump off, play ball control. It's the guys that can't separate it are the ones that get, put out of the league. And that's what we'll find out about Justin Fields this year.
That's a great take, Russell. Just like we said with Mahomes, he's not going to try to force it with his legs and just try to play hero ball when the shit's on the line. You know what I'm saying? He's going to literally use his mental as well to figure it out.
Yeah.
Yep. And if I need to be a wizard, I can be a wizard. Now if Goff That ain't gonna happen with Goff. When the ship breaks down, he's like, okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and fall down because he might be able to slip up into the pocket, step up into the pocket, and get like an extra second. He can buy time like that, but he ain't gonna be running out of the pocket, dancing, throwing the ball off of his sidearm and shit like that.
Crazy shit.
Ain't him. It's like, look, if the shit's breaking down, just give up.
Thank God you have a good offensive line.
yeah, for sure.
That's what you have to have. I mean, if you have a pocket quarter, if you don't have a good offensive line, you're done. How do you beat Tom Brady? Well, you beat his ass. You collapse.
You gotta get him early and often.
Exactly. Definitely.
Oh, D-Hop to the Lions. This just won't stop. Oh my God. Come on.
I want him to, but my God, you guys, let's be patient. Let's trust our coaching staff, our GM's job. Look, I get it. Look, I'm one of those guys. I want D-Hop too because I'm a selfish person. I want that star name. Look, we all do it. Go ahead, Russ. I'm sorry.
He just wants to buy the jersey, man. That's it.
Okay, talking about D-Hop and stuff. What do you guys think about the Lions? The Lions have really a deep threat, really, right now, with Jameis being suspended.
Ooh, that's a tough question. A lot of Lions fans right now. I'm going to be forthcoming with you, John. They're living on the nostalgia of Marvin Jones Jr. and what he used to be. I'm just going to put it out there. Marvin Jones Jr. is 33 years old. I still think he's a great 50-50 ball catcher, somewhat of a safety net for Trevor Lawrence last year, even though he got his number 2 spot snatched up by, I want to say, Zay Collins, I think it was, for the Jaguars. But right now, he's a huge X factor, and how much he could bring this. He's essentially our only deep threat at this point, with J-Mo out the first 6 games. So that is something that I'm worried about, that me and Russ, that a lot of Lions fans have talked about in depth.
Yeah,
I don't know if I'm that worried about it. I mean, they got a lot of good pass catchers. It's like I think they got a 1 and 3 threes. Like, I mean, they don't really have a bona fide number 2 wide receiver right now without J-Mo, but you can spread that around. You got 3 decent tight ends. You got running backs you can throw the ball to. They said that Jahmyr Gibbs was lining up at every position: the X, the Y, the Z, the slot.
We're going to need that.
No, are you concerned about J-Mo's not even? I heard his route running was great. He's not having connections with Goff.
I mean, I think what's happening right there is, Dorn, you're only reading the one article that suits your that suits your dilemma. Did you read the article that said that he was unguardable?
There was another one, John. It was there.
I read actually quite a few of them that he's up and down. He's up and down.
Yeah.
I've been seeing reports that Laporte is tearing it up. He might be climbing the ranks real quick. And I'm pretty sure the Lions, they're not going to play that game like, oh yeah, you just got here. If you're the best player, you're probably going to be on the field, man. That's how you should do it.
I mean, it was the 4th pick. I mean, you're expecting that guy to contribute early. That was one of the top 3 picks.
And Jamez, you touched on something. Look, man, I'm going to tell you something that separates this Lions regime, Coach Campbell, our GM Brad Holmes, something that separates them from past regimes such as the Quinn Trasher regime, where it was all predicated on veteranship. You're a veteran, so you get to start. You're a rookie, you flash, but you got to earn it. It's not like that here, man. Truly, it's an open competition at every position here, and it's something that Coach Campbell emphasizes, and it's something that us as Lions fans appreciate, because there's nothing worse. Had this been Quinn Trisha, James Houston, we might not even have seen him last year, man. And that kid brought us 8 sacks last year, Russ.
Right.
So this is someone that we might not have seen under the Quinn Trisha regime, man. Dan Campbell has an open door, man, open competition 24/7 throughout offseason and during the season, man. If you could play, if you could ball, and you're outshining other players in practice, in camp, you're going to get a chance to shine, man.
Great. That's the way I see it. Hey, the way I see it, man, if you're medically cleared to play and you're the best guy, you should be the one out there.
Absolutely.
But I think the Packers, they like to draft and develop, and I hate that because they slowly bring the guy in. It's like work him in.
I get you, John. John, can I ask you something? Any reports about Lucas Van Ness? Because that's a guy, or Evan, if you could touch on this too. This is a guy I was looking at our Detroit Lions. I was actually looking at 6 just in case the draft board got all messed up. Me and Russell went through a billion scenarios. Main event Mike as well. Any reports on how good Lucas Van Ness is doing?
He's looking really good.
He's ripping it. He's going.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
man.
It was a classic Packers pick. When we got him, I called that I knew we were gonna get him. Everybody wanted JSN. I was like, no, it's gonna be Lucas Van Ness. Sure enough, we got him. I've seen his college tape. He has a very limited tape. He has a very high ceiling, but he also has a very low floor. He could be a complete bust. But so far, OTAs, he's been ripping it.
Okay, so I guess
Sean Gary are going to be two very high impact edge rushers when they both are on the field.
And you touched on something. I just wanted to ask one more thing between you two guys. So what does this mean for Preston Smith? Does this mean he's on the clock? He's essentially on his way out? I mean, I know Packer fans are kind of about him because he's inconsistent. He'll show up one game, be a highlight reel, and just kind of disappear in stretches when needed.
He's one of the actually top rushers that can actually stop the run.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy,
Good point, John.
You can't run against him.
That's
He's
a good point.
He's the elder of the group too. I mean,
Yeah.
it's actually a pretty young
And
defense.
his contract ain't that bad, so it's not like, so. But I think when you get all three of them on the field at the same time with Kenny Clark, oh man.
So I want
defense there.
let me dispel something for people that are out there that think that Van Ness, because he never started a game. Let me help you guys understand something. He didn't start a game, but that wasn't because he wasn't good enough to start a game. That's an Iowa thing.
Yeah,
only seniors. Only seniors get to be the actual, listed as the starters of the team. So him coming out as a junior, I'm not going to allow you to penalize the.
See, Iowa needs to stop that shit, man. And we were just talking about that. Iowa needs to stop, man. That's what I'm saying. He probably would have went a little faster in the draft. One thing I'll say about the kid, he got his NFL body already. That little motherfucker is ripped, bro.
Yeah.
That young guy's cut, man.
Yeah. Looks like he's immediately ready to attack off the edge. I agree with you, Jamez. Like I said, kudos to the Packers for picking him up, man, because like I said, we ran through a million scenarios, and some of our fan base was like at 6, and I'm like, well, if he's the best player available, I mean, you know how these draft board things go, you guys.
Yeah. I mean, technically, I wanted that receiver, but
do you want to respond to that?
I wanted the receiver too, but
I did too. But
do you want to respond?
I'm not mad about the pick at all because I watched his tape. This guy will run, even though the guy's gotten past him. He will keep going.
Yeah,
he won't stop until that guy is out or he's in the end zone.
It's funny you touch on that because from what I've heard, with all the drafting reports from the Athletic, his RAS, as well as PFF, his motor, his comp was almost to Aiden Hutchinson. And like I said, I was already having visions in my head of Hutch on one end and Lucas Van Ness on the other. So I think you guys got a real winner there.
Yeah, I think so too. I think I had to look at his tape because I don't watch many Iowa games myself. So when we draft, I'm like, okay, let's see what we got. And I was like really mad to begin with because I really wanted JSN. We needed a slot kind of receiver like he was. And of course they don't go that early in the draft usually. So I was like, okay, well, I looked at his tape. His tape, the limited tape we had was phenomenal. He got down. He did some spin moves. In an Illinois game, I think it was, he was really ripping up the turf, just going after the quarterback, not stopping until he was even like against a higher pick. I forget who it was who got drafted higher than him. He was still ripping it against him. He just needs to refine his play, get his moves down and dot the I's and cross the T's, and he'll definitely be one of the premium edge rushers next 2 years.
All right. Russ, where are you at?
I'm here. I was just letting you guys talk. I mean, you guys had a good thing going in there, and I didn't want to snap in on it. But, I mean, I wanted to hit this comment right here where it says that nothing says that Ness will be a bust. So what I do know about Ness, the possibility of him being a bust is just because he's raw. He is raw, and he has one move. That is the knock on him. He has a bull rush that is nasty, and that is good. That will work in the NFL.
Yeah, it will work. Just if people anticipate it, they can. If
Lots of
once he
tackles out
stops his momentum,
No, they will anticipate it, and if he doesn't come up with another pass rush move, then he will bust because straight bull rush people do not make it in the NFL. So he will have to learn a couple of other pass rushing moves.
That was another thing in his tapes. Like if you stopped his momentum, his initial bull rush, there was a couple times he managed to go around, but most of the time it was just running into a wall.
Yeah.
Well, Michigan just pushed him right out of the way. Michigan did whatever they wanted to do. So that was him going up against a grown man. So like you can't push around a lot of these punk asses in the Big Ten, but when they got up there, you want to see what they can do.
You got a lot of beefy tackles in the NFL that you're gonna have to deal with fucking around.
A lot of beefy tackles in this division, Jameis.
Yeah, and
you got some very good tackle play here, man.
In this division alone, he gonna catch hell trying to go get some of these tackles.
All right.
So
what got next, Russ?
I got something for you guys because this is something that I've been thinking about right here all day long. This is something right here. It's been out there. Chase Young, man. I mean, all four teams in the NFC North really honestly could benefit from having a guy like Chase Young and going after him.
He streams the Lions. It streams the Lions because he likes fucking picking injured fucking prone players.
He's a shoo-in. He's going to be a Lion, right? So, yeah, I mean, what do you think? I mean, Jameis, how about we'll start with Viking Nation. What do you think? Skull, are you guys interested? I mean,
hell yeah, we could. I saw a report yesterday. You know, the Vikings, for some reason, a lot of these off-season reporters for the Vikings, they like to attach themselves to any and everything. So I've already seen a report that the Vikings are supposedly trying to make this happen. I mean, if we could, he does come with an injury risk, but man, when he's healthy, man, that dude is if I could get him right now, I would feel like I replaced Z Smith with no problem. Yeah. I mean, I feel like Z Smith was never here if I could land him. But right now, I don't know. He could definitely have impact on any roster, man. That kid is good, man.
Yeah. All right, then.
Still young too.
Statmaster, what do you think, man? How about some Chase Young? You liking that?
Look, man, I'm a huge fan of Chase Young. I want to give a shout out to my guy Melvin. He brought this up. Dude's been injured 22 games the last 3 years, and it makes absolute sense to not want to trade a third rounder.
Exactly.
But this kid is amazing when he's on the field. This is not just some ho-hum or some above average edge rusher. This is a player that when he's on the field, he's one of the most gifted. The kid just has that it factor, man. It's just we got to see if he can get past his injuries. Now, a third rounder for Chase Young, it seems a little rich for my blood. If we can give up like a fourth rounder or Charles Howard or package some players, Charles Harris, Julian Okora, some of these guys that are good in flash, but might not make the roster this year or might be buried in the depth chart, I'd be absolutely okay with it. Look, the kid, I can't help but think of his days. Shout out to my boy Stephen Thomas and Russell here. When he was at The Ohio State, the kid was an absolute one-man wrecking machine. I mean, wow. The kid's got it. The question is what do you want to give up for that? And the second question is that something that I'm kind of seeing hypocritical from our Lions fans is like, look, the same thing I see with D-Hop is, we shouldn't get him. He wants to go to a contender. Well, here's my thing, Lions fans, is are we a contender or are we not? Are we trying to be one of those top-tier teams or are we just – it's a gamble, and I understand gambles like these make or break GMs. I don't think it'll have that effect on Brad Holmes. Obviously NFL.com back-to-back top 5 draft classes. This type of move won't make or break. And this goes for DeAndre Hopkins or Chase Young, assigning or trading like that. So it just depends on where you stand with it.
So you would be good with it. How about that?
Absolutely.
So let's go out to the Cheesy Nation, the evil Cheesy Empire right here. What about you guys? You guys seem like you're pretty set.
Yeah, we don't need a guy like him. No.
Okay.
We don't got the money. Plus, we don't have. Well, we do have the money, but we don't have the money for him.
I get you, John.
I think what's going to happen this year, we're going to go with the guys we got. It's going to be like a leveling stick of where we're at the end of the season, and then we'll say, okay, this is what we need. This is what we need for the off season. This is what we're going to get.
Right.
I respect that breakdown.
How about you, Evan? You think
I have to agree. We really don't need them. We need to keep to our youth movement.
Yeah.
Of course, the head office will never really pick up guys in free agency for picks. They always love to develop their own players, have their own style of team, and that's how it's always been. I love stuff like that, but it's still like money wise.
I get you.
All right, now I have to chime in. I've let you all go in this, and I got, with all due respect to you, Greg,
I get it.
I cannot believe that you would give Romeo Okwara and Charles Harris. This guy right here has bust written all over him, and I'm from the Buckeyes. Hey, Stephen Thomas, do not go get this guy. He's had 9 sacks in his entire career. He won Defensive Rookie of the Year at 7.5 sacks. You want to give up Romeo Okwara, who in the same year had 10 sacks. And
I know, Russ.
Harris had 7.5 sacks in that same year. So you want to give both of those guys and draft capital to
I mean, you know, Russ, look, and sometimes I'm a sucker for big names, man. Look, I will say this.
I'm
Chase Young,
slappy.
Look, Chase Young is a big name, and that's part of our Lions get down from sucking for so many years is we're attracted to these big names. I might be getting suckered into this one. I just feel that Chase Young has a higher ceiling, but like I said, it's the reward versus risk factor. If this kid were to go down early in the season, this would have potentially like dire consequences on any real sort of like movement towards being a respectable team.
Sure.
So I agree.
And then you have 2 guys that are proven that know the defense, that already know what time it is, that are willing, took pay cuts to stay with you.
I know. I'm crying. Don't mind me.
Pay cut. We're going to trade both your asses for this guy that wants all the money.
Yeah, I hovered it up there. My bad.
You know you ain't coming cheap.
Hey, but
yeah, for sure not.
So if you're out there and you're either on Mike the Bear fan, Bill the Packer fans page, or if you're on Detroit Lions Villain Squad, NFC North Main Event, or any of the YouTubes, let me know what you think out there. I mean, is that crazy to trade a couple of pass rushers? Do you want Chase Young on your team? What are you willing to give up for him?
I'm hoping that Lions do it.
Thanks, John.
Yeah,
I always appreciate your support.
Yeah. We love your support of our bad decisions throughout the years. It's totally a Patricia thing to do.
Yeah.
It would be like the Lions are sending their first and their second round pick for next year for Chase Young.
Oh God, that would hurt.
3 and 14.
Yeah.
Oh, Melvin never makes sense. I don't know. Maybe Melvin's a little over the top.
Hey, I know those guys. What's up, Bear Down Breakdown? Hope all is well.
Hey, you guys be fighting in that NFC North, the huddle, man. You guys go out there. If you want good smack talk, you want to get into some like heated arguments where they might even talk about your mama or something like that.
Melvin's just a big troll, just like everybody else is.
Troll Dorn?
John is like Lord of Trolls.
I got a draft that says Fields is garbage, same old Lions.
You got a crown thrown under that bridge, John. I see you on those groups, man.
Hey, God, you sure know one when you see one, don't you?
Where are
great, man.
fans at?
Go Pack, go.
Go Packers, go beat Dome Stadium teams like Lions.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
You'll be saying that about the Chicago Bears here shortly.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that Bears game. It's one of those classic first week rivalry. Both unproven teams.
Nice.
Both have completely new just setups.
They're not going to cut Hunter. They won't cut Hunter. I know that.
There's no way they're cutting. Look, Hunter.
Zero chance.
Yeah, Harrison Smith took a pay cut.
Harrison Smith already took a pay cut to stay. He's not getting cut, man.
Hey, Jabez, if you lose Harrison Smith and Daniel Hunter, what are your chances of success this year?
Like, damn, Rod D. Thompson, you just trying to cripple us like that, man? I'm telling you right now. I'm gonna tell you, if guys that's already taking pay cuts get cut, we got some real issues. Goddamn.
Yeah.
49ers getting Cousins.
Ooh, that'd be good.
Yeah.
I'd like
we
that.
already turned them down. They already got the best offer. The 49ers don't want him no more, man.
Well, one thing, since there's no Bear fans here, I mean, really, I've seen some 12-5 predictions. I mean, what are these guys? I mean, what are these guys doing, man?
Oh man!
I mean, you guys want? I mean, jeez. I mean, is Justin Fields? I mean, let's say Justin Fields is like makes a massive jump, right? Maybe he throws for 3,000 yards, gets like 30,000.
A massive jump at 3,000. Oh my god, it's true though.
No, yeah, Russell, at least 3,500.
4,000. Even if let's say he throws for 4,000 yards.
No, don't say that. He'd be the first in Bears history.
But, I mean, even if defense isn't good enough. Like, even if he goes for 4,000, they're still going to lose 11 or 12 games. Like, you're going to go 7, 8 wins, maybe 9 wins. I feel like they were like where the Lions were last year. You know,
it's a very similar situation in my opinion, Russ.
You're hoping. You got the hopium going. You got it in there.
I think the one thing that separates their situation from our situation, Russ, is the fact that they had a lot more draft capital to play with in year 2. They went out and they made some good key acquisitions. Trayman Edmonds, one of the best linebackers, and in my personal opinion, TJ Edwards, one of the most underrated linebackers. They went out, they scored those two guys in normal Bears tradition to have great linebacking. It's linebacker university there. We all know that. We understand that. My only question with those moves was, is it the right move in today's game? You know, linebackers, they're just not what they used to be. They're not heavy. You'll see a lot of dime packages out there, even nickel packages with just one linebacker on the field. And so that's my only question. I do think they'll improve somewhere between 7 and 9 wins if Fields takes that next step. If he does not take that next step, 5 and 6 wins, and I think that they'll probably move on from Fields.
Right, and they got the capital to do it. Like, I mean, I would say if I'm a Bear fan, I would say like 7 wins. I'm feeling good. I feel good about the progression. We were 3 wins last year. We were dog shit. We couldn't do anything. If I win 7, 8 games, I'm feeling pretty good about that progression. And these guys you're going from 3 to 12 wins. I mean,
and you know, Russ. Look, man. So
impossible. It's not impossible.
It's not. And you know, look, in a world or social media world where we see that 95% of Bears fans are just fucking living way out of reality, somewhere out in fantasy land, there is that 5% that are a little bit more realistic. Mike Carrico, my boy Mike Reese from Bear Down Breakdown there. I've had some good talks. Jason Mellardino. These guys are a little bit more realistic with their expectations, you know, and they'll be the first to tell you that, hey, expectations this year are 7 to 9 wins. You know, they've all seen Adam Rank's 12-win prediction. They're not feeling that. I think quadrupling your win total in one season sounds great. I just don't think it's feasible. Obviously, if you're a 3-win team, you're lacking in talent. So, but I'm not going to completely write off Justin Fields yet. He has a lot more to do, but he did flash at times last year.
My gosh, he can run. I mean, if he plays off of the run, the pass, and he can play people against, you know, what they're trying to do, he'll be good.
As soon as he gets any little pressure, he freaks out.
And John, he's gonna have to work on that. And you know, the Bears fans that I've spoken to, that I have a mutual respect for, man, they understand that he needs to get his pocket awareness unlocked. That first feeling of flight every time that pocket starts collapsing, that's got to end. He's got to show that he can get it done in the pocket.
Jordan Love, he can sit in that pocket. He'll have a guy right in his face, and he'll fucking still do that ball.
He looked good versus the Eagles last year. I'll give you that, John. I've been one of the fans here who's, you know, one of your opposing divisional rivalry fans who's not completely written off Jordan Love. I'll say this. I don't know what we have in him yet, but I think the kid definitely has a chance, at least as much as a chance as Justin Fields. At least.
Yeah, we hear, as a Packers fan about Jordan Love, a lot of the Kansas City game that popped up when the preseason against Kansas City, the game we lost, it was a preseason game. It didn't really matter, but it really came down.
That was regular season when Aaron Rodgers couldn't go.
Oh, right. It was like, and it came down to our kicker missing a lot of kicks, if you watched it. Our kicker was not hitting the field goals. It should have been an overtime game.
Is this Mason Crosby?
Crossbar.
But you guys are talking about preseason, right?
No, this is the regular season a couple years ago.
I got mixed up.
It was like mid-season when that happened,
Yeah.
But Kansas blitzed the shit out of him, and he still stayed in that pocket and still delivered.
All
that's
they
a good
did,
thing.
Kansas City kept rushing him. All they did was rush, and he still had some plays, but with a whole new offense with Devontae Adams gone. Sorry, I blanked there. It like even Rodgers was having problems with the offense because it was all rookies.
Yeah, I agree. I'll give you that.
I think Adams made fucking Rodgers. Adams made Rodgers.
I like that, John.
That's a very bold statement there, buddy. How the hell did Devontae Adams make Rodgers? How did he make Rodgers when it took Adams 3 years? Bro, it took Adams 3 years to even learn how to catch the ball, man.
In John's defense,
y'all used to call him Drop Vontae out there.
In John's defense, I think what he was kind of trying to say is that there's a possibility that Devontae Adams was help bolstering a possible, not confirmed, possible declining Rodgers. As we've seen Rodgers last year.
Now, if you're saying that, if you're saying Adams carried him in the last couple of years, I'll give you that.
Awfully convenient. Awfully convenient.
I got you. My bad, John. I got you.
You're good.
I love the convenience. As soon as it goes out of town, I saw it happen with Rodgers. God, I got 2 weeks of some great flip flop.
But if you know me,
with you,
you know me all last year. I wanted Rodgers.
Oh, he's overrated. I love Rodgers again. Oh, he's overrated.
John, do you forget that Aaron Rodgers dealt with the most drops in the NFL last year, bro? 42 drops, man. What do you want him to do with that?
Damn ball going up high, low their feet. Fucking.
Yeah, I want him to place it better.
John, you said he was throwing dirt balls?
Fucking he was at people's feet, man. Did you watch the game or what? Jesus Christ. He's doing all every game. Look at the fucking Lions game, the first one. He just
God, that was bad. I've never seen Aaron Rodgers play that bad in my life.
Yeah, I've never seen him do that.
God, that was bad.
That goal line.
That game, I wanted him out of there. I wanted Jordan Love and that.
Daniel there, he rolls his eyes. That must be one of the realistic.
Daniel's cool. What's up, Daniel? Hope all's well, brother.
I mean, where's Ken Doby at? I mean, really, I said Justin Fields' name like 3 times. He usually materializes.
Yeah, man, he's like the candy man.
And then he talks about a kicker for a half an hour.
Yeah.
You should trade for kickers. Janikowski is the greatest of all time.
What's up, Ken?
Ken Doby from the Mike the Bear fan. And really, I'm going to put a shout out to Bill the Packer fan, because there's 2 Packer fans that are representing the Packers on this show right here. So yes, go follow. If you're a Packer fan, go follow Bill the Packer fan, because he puts out great Packer fan content. I'm not into it. I usually go clown his page. I think Jamez does too. But if you're into that, go like Bill the Packer fan. We got Detroit Lion News. Thank you guys for letting us broadcast in there. I mean, technically we're supposed to stop, but I love talking football.
Yeah,
and go ahead and throw a question into the comments. I ain't got nothing to do here for a minute right here, so I ain't planning on setting this thing down yet. But NFC North Open Mic every single Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern time. What is that for you guys? That's 6 for you, Jamaz, right?
Yeah.
6 Central.
6 for me. 6 for me.
And all the way on the West Coast, he'd be at like 4 o'clock.
It's 3 o'clock because we like the sun. Yeah, don't mind us.
On the sun. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So these Bear fans thinking 12. I mean, I love. Gosh, I just love how much parity there is in this division right now.
It's close, man.
I've been covering the Lions for a couple years now, and it's like, especially during the dark ages of Patricia, it's nice to actually have like hope of something.
Yeah, that's it. I'm going to give it to you guys. Look, man, Packers fans, this must have been a real nice run with Aaron Rodgers. Not saying you guys are going to flop this year at all, but you guys had something good going on there for a good minute. You guys were all competitive. Look, man, when it comes down to it, there are 3 teams. If you were to ask any casual fan off the streets, hey, think of 3 NFL teams. Usually the Cowboys, Packers are first two teams off people's tongue, man.
Yeah.
You guys have been a great run. You guys have been competitive for a long time. I respect you guys that are sticking around. In our NFC North Huddle group, a lot of Packers fans have gone ghost. John Dorn, not you. Evan, I'd like to get you in that group if you're not already a part, man. Kudos to you guys, and best of luck this season, except for when you play us. You guys aren't going to be down for long. You guys won't be down. I know how the Packers operate. If you guys do have a down year, as John was alluding to, I think they're going to spend this year trying to find out what works, what doesn't, who's good, who's not, and you guys will be back, man. You guys got a lot of draft capital going forward. You guys are set up for the future.
Especially with the potential 2 first-round picks next year if Rodgers plays his games.
And then
we can always throw stuff back and try to get a good quarterback in the draft if neither Sean Clifford or Love works out. But as I'm saying, I'm hoping from this organization they don't let Jordan Love, if he turns out to be that guy, walk all over him like Rodgers did.
I don't think that'll ever happen again.
Yeah,
I don't think so. And John's right there. I think, to be honest with you, because of the pressure from Packers fans, Packers fan base, look, your GM's in deep with your community. It's a community-based team. I think they felt the pressure for the last couple of years. I spoke to this about Nick Green. Shout out to him, part of the Frozen Tundra Network. Had you guys traded him last year, you guys would have got a complete King's ransom for him, like Deshaun Watson, the Russell Wilson trades. But you know what? Goot went in there and he salvaged the situation. I don't think we'll ever see that type of trade market value again for quarterbacks again after what happened with Deshaun Watson as well as Russell Wilson. So he went in there and salvaged it and just did the best he could. And as Russ said, man, he's invested a lot in your defense, you guys. And with that defense, I don't think you guys are going to be as bad as a lot of people troll on social media. I think that defense is going to keep you in games. You know, if Jordan Love can just be at minimal a decent game manager, I think you guys can hover around 500, maybe even get 10 wins. So,
yeah, my win percentage here, I'm thinking 9 to 7, somewhere in there.
Okay.
Because our roster is still loaded with good on defense and good on offense.
Well, that's where the question reigns in from Joe Barry. It's like, you got a ton. I mean, you guys should be rostering a top 10 defense, and for some reason it's not there yet. So I think it all hinges because Gutekunst is pumping. Yeah,
Gutekunst is finding depth people. He's like our draft Jaden Reed, a wide receiver we took the second round. He looks really good. I saw some of his tape and he looked really good. And then there was a O-lineman we got from Bowling Green very late in the draft.
But see, what people don't realize is that Jordan Love actually he ran the OTs last year all by himself, pretty much because Rodgers was there. Yeah. Even during the season, he ran with the ones because Rodgers was with his thumb and his old age. He only practiced like a couple days a week. That's it. Otherwise, Jordan took all the first round things.
Yeah.
I will say, if we traded Aaron Rodgers last year, I don't think Love was ready. And I think LaFleur knew it. And he's like, dude,
that's the question. Is he ready now? I mean, because here's the thing.
He should be.
See, they brought Clemens in, quarterback coach Clemens. Mm-hmm. He came in, I don't know what he did, but he did something with Jordan Love.
He did something. That's the only reason he hasn't retired.
Something clicked.
Well, that's why I like what Gutekunst did. Like, if I have to give some respect to the enemy, I have to, like, them extending him and making the extension less than what it would have been for a fifth-year option. That doesn't put a good, it's not like he's patting Love on the back and saying, you get an extension because you played good. It's like, no, man, we're
trying to cover our butt and make sure we ain't got to pay
if you don't play, for you. Like, look here, if you don't pan out, we got an extra first-round pick and we're about ready to replace you. And as a matter of fact, we might try to replace you this year too. Like,
I mean, another thing is, like, he's been out there in the California, throwing to Aaron Jones and Dobbs. And
I've seen that.
Okay, good stuff.
So, Rodgers never did that shit.
That he didn't. I promise you that.
And Dobbs just came out and said not too long ago. He was saying like Rodgers didn't even talk to him much. It's like how can you have a quarterback not talk to your receivers too much?
Yeah.
It's like Dobbs is, he does not work. All the receivers, everybody feels comfortable with Love. Because they're all their age. They're all the same age. So they get along a lot better. They're doing more shit. They're going voting. They're doing a whole bunch of shit together.
So thank you to Nate the Great right here for the comment. 9 to 8, 10, 7, 7 to 10 is where I mean that is kind of where the Packers are because of the
That's where I got him.
uncertainties.
Yeah.
What about Luke Musgrave? And I
Ooh.
know that some of the people said that, we wanted to get, what's his Jackson Smith and Jigba. I think that these two tight ends that you guys got,
I think there
were 5 tight ends in this draft that were of a top 100 grade, and you guys got 2 of them. So one of them's an excellent blocking tight end, and the other one being Musgrave. That dude's an athlete, and I mean,
for a tight end, he's got speed.
That's right.
So that's to me, I think that he's what you wanted your Travis Kelce kind of guy to be. You want him to be that guy, and he can do blocking. He's a decent blocker.
One thing about tight ends, it's the hardest position besides quarterback.
It's a lot of expectations. You're right.
Yeah, I mean, if you're expecting the guy to play the tight end position, that's a 3-year deal.
Yeah.
Usually with everybody, even the best ones, it's a 3-year deal.
Demora would get probably more reps than anything. I mean, and him and Lover got good connection together. So
that's a good thing. Tight end.
Musgrave's more of a pass catching tight end, so I expect him to make a impact earlier than I would a traditional tight end kind of guy.
Yeah. I think he'd be a good security blanket for Jordan Love.
Help Jordan Love development. Anybody want to comment on that? Tom Clements?
I was just saying that Tom Clements. Yeah.
Yeah, he helped.
Yeah.
Something clicked once he came in. His footwork's a lot better. His mechanics are a lot better.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, his motion's getting more refined. It's going.
Yeah.
I will say our schedule right now, looking at it, is probably the best situation we could have gotten, and it's a very easy start. There is no Kansas City, Eagles. It goes Bears, Falcons, Saints, and then we finally have a competitive game, high competitive stakes against the Lions.
Yeah.
So it's a real start. It's a real start that could get you ready and going.
Those Bears think they're going to whoop you week 1, don't you? I mean,
they have a home field advantage, but home field isn't everything when your field sucks.
Soldier Field. Are they moving out to Arlington still? What's going on there?
NFL. I'm sorry, Bears fans, but it's I don't know what they were thinking.
We seen the pictures last offseason. That field is horrendous.
It's the main event after hours.
I don't think they're going to be able to stop A.J. Dillon and fucking.
Last call.
Yeah, no, A.J. Dillon's one of the best secondary running backs. One of the best duos is Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon.
Yep, Heavy on Packers said that he was the best backup running back.
He's the best.
Wow.
So, hey,
we done, Russ? We good?
Hey, you want to call it? I'm good. I mean, yeah.
I'm happy.
I just want to thank everyone for tuning in. Detroit Lions News, NFC North main event 365, Villain Squad main event. You call it, Russ. I don't know all this stuff off the top of my head.
Right. So, well, I get to look at it right here. So, yeah, we are streaming live in the Detroit Lions Villain Squad NFC North main event. Mike, the Bear fan, representing Bear Down. We got Go Pack Go with Bill, the Packer fan. Detroit Lions News. Thank you, Joe Chapp, for extending and calling out and letting us stream into your platform and letting us get out there. Please go out and follow the page, man. We're trying to get this thing up. Our other page got deleted, and I ain't even going to go into all the BS with that. But we love you guys. We're hoping that you guys tune in next week. I'm going to be live every single morning, 11 a.m. this week, talking a little bit of that football, NFC North stuff. God bless you guys. One pride.
One pride.
Go back, go. Same old Lions.
Go.